Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at creating a custom class to use with an Xcode project here when we're building an app. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm already a step ahead of you here, but if you guys will go ahead and open up Xcode and create a new project, and you can call it Who Am I. I call it Who Am I too, just because I have another file with the same name. You just call yours Who Am I, single view application. Save it. Let's get to the main storyboard here, and let's get to work here. So first thing we're going to do is let's just set up our storyboard here and our user interface. So we got to add some elements to this here. So we're going to add 3 text fields to our storyboard. All right, so let's just bring those out one by one. We'll align to the left here, and we'll make that a little bit bigger. For the first one, we're going to give it placeholder text of enter your name. All right. Bring out another text field. Again, we're going to put it right underneath it here, and then make it about exactly the same size. And we're going to say enter your grade for the placeholder, and then let's get one more text field out here. All right, and we're going to go ahead and same thing, just size that up appropriately there. And we're going to call this enter in a fun fact. We're not call it, we're just going to give it the placeholder text. All right, below that, let's go ahead and add a button here. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to actually, and you know what? I forgot to do something here. I'm going to drag all these text fields down just because I need to do something here in a moment. So you might want to do the same thing here, but let's go ahead, button. We're going to give the text here. We'll say click here. All right, we'll align that. Before we go forward here, let's get in the habit of doing this. Go to your edit. Let's go ahead and embed this view controller in the navigation controller. So editor, embed in nav controller. All right, just to give it that nice appearance there with the with the nice title bar up top there. So that's why I moved my text field down so it wasn't covered up. Let's just change the title of the navigation item to Who Am I? All right, the question of the day. Okay, so we got 3 text fields. I'm going to move that down a little more. There we go. Space it out a little bit better. Click here, and then below that, we're going to bring a text view that's going to output all the information we plug into these text fields. All right, so we're going to put the text view here. It's got some filler text. If you want to get rid of that, just go over here to your attributes inspector, delete, then that goes away. Okay, so now as always, let's hook these up to outlets. All right, so hopefully at this point you're able to do that relatively quickly here. We've been doing that quite a bit, so let's just hook up each text field to an outlet. So we're going to call this one name text field. All right, we'll call this one grade text field. All right, we'll call this one fact text field. All right, I'm going to create some space here. All right, let's hook up our button to an action. I'm going to get rid of the did receive memory warning function here. So let's create an action for this guy. All right, we'll call it up. Let's make sure we change our connection to action on button pressed. And then we got our text view. Let's not forget about that. We'll just call this one summary text view. Okay, so we've got our outlets connected. I'll bring that back up in full screen here. I'm just going to do a little house cleaning here. Just get rid of the extra spaces that we don't need. And then we got our action there. Okay, so we've got our storyboard essentially set up here. So now the goal of this app, again, is that we want them that you're going to enter in fields, and then based on what you enter in, you'll click this button, and then in this view, text view, it's going to show a little statement saying, a statement there with all your facts that you created. So again, answering that question of who am I? Okay, so we're going to set up some properties here to do that. So we've got our text, we've got our outlets established right now, but we also have to create properties for your name, grade, and fact. Okay, so we're going to create a custom class to do this. So we're going to store all these in its own unique class here, so it's nice and tidy, easy to find, and then also we can go to one space or one spot to fix it here. So to create a new class, we're going to go to Command New. All right, and then again, I'm saying class, we're actually going to be creating a new Swift file. So make sure you're under iOS, source, then we're going to choose Swift file. So go ahead and click next. And we're going to save this. We're going to change this to person. We want this up here to be person. This is going to be the person file. And make sure that we're inside our project folder and click create. And then what happens is we get basically our Swift file, person.swift. It imports the foundation. So you'll notice here we're not importing the UI kit, but that's okay. We're not doing any user interface. This is strictly just to be a custom class to store some properties. Okay, so we now have a Swift file, and this is where we're going to create our class that we're going to use throughout the app here. Okay, so what we need to do, okay, so we're going to create a class here. So to do that, we start with the keyword class. Okay, and you'll notice that it's going to give you some fillers. All right, so what do you want the name to be? All right, so we're going to call this person. And we're not going to subclass from anything right now, so we can actually get rid of that. So now in here is where we want to create our properties. Okay, so now we know that we have a name text field, a grade text field, and a fact. So we want to make a property for each of those. So we're going to go var name. All right, so for right now, let's go ahead and just set that equal to your name. All right, so we'll just hard code this for right now. Oop. Okay, we'll go var grade. That's I'm a senior. I'm a super senior here. Okay, and then we'll go var fact. And let's go with, what do we want to do with that one here? Let's see, I like sports. Yes, very, very awesome fact there. Okay, so now this is our person class. So these properties are all available to us when we call the person class here. Okay, so now we've got all this available. So how do we use this? Okay, so we've got this person.swift file here. How the heck does this relate to anything that we're doing right now here? Okay, so what we would need to do, okay, is we're going to go to our view controllers because this is where we want to use this class. Okay, so we didn't create the properties here, but we need to create an instance, or we need to of our person class, our person.swift file. All right, so we got to create that instance. So we're going to create a variable called person, and we're going to set it equal to our person class. Okay, so what we just did is we're saying the word this variable person is equal to everything. So we have this person class. So this variable person now has access to anything in there. Okay, so it's all available to us there. So it's pretty powerful. So person.name.grade.text, it's all available to us here as we go forward. Okay, so again, it creates a variable, and this variable inherits all the properties of person class. Okay, so now what we could do here, okay, so we can go into our view to load, and let's set our summary text field. So we can go summary text view.text, and we can set that equal to a string here. So if we were to go to, let's see here, what do we want to do here? Hang on, guys, I'm looking here at my notes. Yeah, so we can go, my name is, okay, and then if we want to use string interpolation here, person dot, notice when we go name, all right, we're using the dot syntax there, we're calling that property. So it's saying my person, and again, this is going to go back, it's going, all right, person, it's going to go back to the class and say name, and it's going to go back to our person.swift and say, all right, what'd you put in name? We've got Chris, okay? All right, now we can continue that, and I am a, same thing here, so we're going to use the person dot. So now again, what do we want to use? There we go. So we know these are all the properties of the person class. All right, so we want to say grade. I am a senior, and then we're just going to call that fun fact there. So we're going to go person dot. Once again, all right, there's that fact property we made because again, person can access all those. Okay, so let's let some things process here. There shouldn't be any errors. There are not. Okay, so that's how you can use the person class in your view controller. Okay, so we created the variable person, and then we set it equal to the person class. So person, lowercase person here, inherits all the properties as you see down here, person.name.grade.funfact. Okay, so now when this loads up, all right, you'll see here now how this all comes to play in a full functioning app here. All right, but again, benefits of this is that now this person file, or is it's a nice place for that class to be, and you can call this on any view controller. So if you have multiple view controllers, you don't have to make the variables or the properties over and over and over again. You just call it class, right? So it kind of simplifies, not simplifies, it just makes it one less step there. It could be a little cleaner code, which is always a good thing, especially when you start building some more advanced apps. All right, it just kind of helps the cause there. All right, so back to our story, or excuse me, to our simulator. All right, let's load this app up here. All right, well, let's see this. So as that's loading up here, all right, why don't we not, just sit here and stare? Why don't we, kind of move forward? So as you might get to see this happening when this summary loads up in view to load. it's going to say my name is, and then we're hard coded right now. We said we said name is Chris, grade senior, fact I like sports. The problem there is that we haven't really given the user much of any reason to use this app, because anytime they open the app up, it's going to say Chris Senior, I like sports. Okay, so we need to change that. So we set the value. This is kind of like a default initializer. We're going to set these to empty strings right now. Okay, so we're going to set that equal to just a string, but it's going to have no value at the moment here, or no content, I guess I should say there. I'll keep checking back there. All right, so now what we need to do, not too much we need to change. So we're still calling person. We're still calling the person class and setting it equal to the person variable. The only thing that's different now is person.name is empty. Okay, there's nothing associated with name except an empty string here. Okay, so we want that, again, like we said at the top here, we want to, anytime we press the button, all right, we want the name, all right, to be whatever they type into the text field, so that way they can figure out who they are. Okay, so to do that, we're going to say, all right, well, we know person.name is a property, and we want to basically give the user the ability to enter in a name. So we just need to match that up with our text field where they're going to be entering that in. So if we say person.name is going to be equal to name text field.text, all right, we basically said, so whatever the user types into the text field, we're going to set that equal to person.name. Okay, so then basically that's going to give that back to the class. Now still checking on that first one, still running. Okay, so now I can say person.grade is going to equal the grade text field.text. And then person dot where are we at here? Fact is going to equal to the fact text field dot text. All right, so basically what we're doing is when we press this button, we're saying that, okay, so whatever's in the text fields, name, grade, or fact. Let me check here again. Okay, so here's the original. So as you see, when the view loads up, my name is Chris, and I'm a senior, and I like sports. So hard-coded. All right, so regardless of whatever I type in here, so I type in Fred, all right, and then I click here. That doesn't change anything down here, so that's no good. We don't want that. So that's what we're working on right now. So coming back here, all right. So again, we've in person we've set the value initially to just a blank string there. So in our view controller, we're saying when they press the button, whatever's in the name text field, we're making the name property of person equal to that. We're just going to take this line of code, we're going to cut that out, and we're going to put that down here. So that this way, when we press the button, the text view, as this is getting changed here, it'll take whatever name text field is, puts it in the name, it's going to shoot it out into this sentence right here. Okay, so let's try this out here. All right, so let's see if we can get some code where we can put some different names and values in here. All right, so again, so we created a custom class called person, and we gave it some properties, name, grade, and fact. We initialized it right now to just empty strings. In our view controller, we set some properties, our name text fields. All right, so as that's loading up, let's just continue reviewing what we did here. All right, so we've got all our text field outlets, and then we've got a button. So when we press the button, we're going to, whatever the name is equal to, we're going to set that equal to the person.name, or we're going to assign it. So name is going to become whatever's in the text field. Grade is going to become whatever's in the text field. Fact is going to become whatever's in this text field. And then that'll show up in our text view here based off of the string interpolation we did down here. All right, so, and that's all going to work. Okay, so again, the nice thing about doing this is we just had to call the variable person up top there. So if we had 3 or 4 more view controllers and we were looking to do similar things here, we would just have to go var person equals person and not type out all the properties once again. So that's why it's nice to have your own custom class here to store all that. All right, so now before we go here, I just want you guys to see what the final one looks like, so you can check your app to the one on the screen here. Okay, but as we know here, sometimes this takes a little time to load up. It's really deliberate, I guess, if you want to be positive here. Alrighty. Well, as always, you can fast forward through here, and once the app loads up, stop your fast forward. I unfortunately have to sit here and wait for this to load up. I cannot fast forward the present here. That'd be nice if I could. Okay, so let's go ahead here and let's plug some things in. All right, so we're gonna say Chris. We'll go freshman, and I like school. So when I click here, there it is. Okay, so you can see it's based off of what I put in here. So let's come back to my top text field, change this to Bob. My name is Bob, and I am a freshman, and I like school. So you see it's changing based on what I type up here. Okay, so again, that's kind of the end product of this app. So hopefully you are able to follow along with me here on creating a custom class. Questions, any problems, just let me know during